welcome to yet another episode in my channel. Thank you everyone for joining us. Today we have Ansh Kumar, who is an interactive visual artist based out of Gurgaon in Delhi. And as always, we would request Ansh to give us a little introduction about himself, and then we will have two very specific questions for Ansh. So Ansh, over to you.
Okay, hi. It's really nice to be in your channel. It's like I've actually gotten a few great insights from the people who have come to your channel. So that's really nice. And also, this is special because you were the first one for me, like to take my art and put it in a gallery. So that is special as well for me. Okay, so about me, I am Ansh and I am an architect by education, but I but I've been more into media arts and motion design from the longest time. So recently I've come into more of an interactive art and installation space and converting that passion into something like adding to that passion is what I'm currently doing. So I'm trying to get into new media as it's basically called new media arts, and more of my work is interactive. So that's what
Okay.
is
Okay.
what is yes.
Great. Thank you, Ansh, for that introduction. It's interesting that you mentioned a new media, and that is what my first question is related to. So your medium is somewhat alternate. It's not really your conventional canvas or pottery. Your medium is somewhat different from the rest of the lot. Of course, it's emerging in a lot of new areas as well. Ansh, we would like to know, how do you sort of decide, or how did you reach that place wherein you could sort of pinpoint that this is a medium that I would like to work upon?
So basically, from the start, when I first got my computer, maybe in sixth or something, I was very keen on creating these digital manipulations or photographs and all of that. So, I mean, I started in a very funny way. I mean, I took an image and did my signature over a Beckham signature, and like that's embarrassing, but it is where we basically start. It's like the curiosity is I that's what I did with Photoshop first, and then slowly I went on to more of movies and animation and all of that. So in sense of softwares, more of animation softwares I started to learn by myself from YouTube, like the best medium ever. And then I was fortunate enough to get a lot of opportunities in school, like even for small annual day meets or assemblies or something. I would be the guy to basically create something really what other schools or other people have not seen, like more of animated stuff rather than just editing some things and putting it there. Then I was offered an internship in the Pioneer newspaper in my 11th class. So that's where my first byline came, and like I created the graphics for the sports page, like the masterheads as they're called. Then after 12th, this architecture happened, and then from there, architecture school, all my designs, I somehow eventually went on to add motion to them physically and represent things in motion again, because by then I was also doing freelancing in a very small way in animation stuff and everything. So I wanted to like mix both the mediums and actually put my motion knowledge about motion design and everything to use.
Mhm.
So my building somewhere moved, the professors somewhere laughed also ki, like how and why and everything. But eventually it was in a way acknowledged and all that. And after architecture, so we have our like last year of training. The whole year is for training as an intern in someone else's office. So I decided to work for a graphic design firm of an architecture firm. And I was again fortunate enough to get this opportunity in Stuttgart, which is a firm called Tip and Drum. And it works more as a graphic design firm for this architecture firm, but also does projects on the side. Like in the start, I was also giving those animation stuff because they liked that about my portfolio. So, I mean, the mentor really liked it. His name was Jörg Becker. So, Jörg, eventually, after maybe 2 to 3 months, we started to get along. And after that, I was given an opportunity to design for an insurance firm, German insurance firm called AOK. Basically, what the brief was, they wanted something in a dynamic organism, which at the first glance looks identical, but it has different forms that can be used in different graphics and uh, speaks of different values which the insurance firm had. So values like courage, flexibility, health, all that were basically the thing. And that was a project which like completely gave into my hands, which was a bit of a challenge because some things like that also give us anxiety and everything. But and eventually it did happen. It converted into a wayfinding system, all the graphics. It converted into a whole of a language, basically, like a the one video or a one concept that I created converted into a lot of things in terms of for the architectural space itself. Like it recently won an award and it won one last year as well for a workspace in itself. So, I mean, so the opportunity you gave me was really great. All of things, everything added up in a way, and I never, I mean, obviously, I felt that sometimes that, oh, I have nothing to do, what will I do? But then eventually things add up when you keep like showing people, keep talking about your things and all of that. So, and so this design is also supposed to be converted into 5 to 6 spaces of the same, like the AUKA, the company, and like it's probably the permanent language for them now, for the spaces at least for a while. And then basically I was supposed to be working there again after I came back. I had to come back for my exams and to for the college and everything. But I never went back because I felt that there was some things I have not explored. So all of this time, because of Instagram, because of all the wide inspiration that gives us anxiety 24 hours of what people are creating and we aren't, was also where I was continuously trying to like these inspirations came to me and and they somehow clicked ki okay, this kind of art or this kind of medium is what I want to, like, at least it talks back to me or at least it clicks with me. So I decided to stay back. Started learning again on these generative art basically, where I entered in. So there is this artist called Rafiq Anadol. His art was which basically talked to me and ki, okay, at least try this out.
Mm-hmm.
And so then I worked towards on what I should learn, what I should not learn, or coding. So what happened was I just made a concept out of this this code that I made, which was the frame, basically. So that frame that I exhibited with you is what the concept I prepared. And I just sent it a few places wherever the art calls were and all of that. And your exhibition is more of paintings and handwork, more of authentic art. And I wouldn't really fit in it. There's no point in talking. And I had a few like mishappenings. It was this time last year. So I was like, okay, I'll not really push this out. I mean, I couldn't even register it because I was in all of that. So then what happened was he kept on calling me, and so I just mailed the PDF that I had created. I converted that concept into the real piece that I exhibited in 2 days or 3 days. Again, a friend who I work with very often called Himanshu is he helped me. He has a studio, so his team of carpenters and everyone helped me overnight in this cold winter on his terrace. We built that frame and all of that, and probably the art piece wasn't even finished when I put it there. Like one day before the exhibition, we put it there, and there was the interactive part wasn't really working. So I went back home, called another like a carpenter who helps me a lot in the family and everything. He came in the night. We figured out the whole pot design and all of that. Made it overnight, and then exhibited, which was a completely really like different experience for me. For people again, like how to see how people react to the art, because it was the first time. I had no idea, no expectations at all, nothing. It was just me having fun. And so that happened, and from there I think then I was pretty sure that I want to do this and I want to create more of interactive art. So from videos, from basically still graphics to videos, and then I also built in the way I've also built a knack for filmmaking. So this is how basically the from media to movies to interactive art, yeah, and
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
architecture,
Okay, fascinating.
combining
So,
all of it.
great. Thank you for that. I have like around 50 follow-up questions on that, but out of those, I have one that I wanted to ask you, which kind of relates to what I do as well. So all
Yeah.
of us have our preferred mediums that we work on, but then when we are creating something, I, for example, dabble on other mediums as well as a prep work for what I'm going to do. So, for example, if I want to create a work of art which is on charcoal, which is my, let's say, my preferred medium, I do a lot of photography as reference
Okay.
images. I do a lot of writing. I There are a lot of these, So, for example, if I want to explore how shadows and lights work, then I do a bit of pottery, maybe. So that those are all dabbling in other mediums. Do you do that as well? Because yours is completely, it's all on technology, or mostly on technology. Do you take photographs? Do you sort of, maybe sketch or doodle? Do you do all of that as well?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I doodle a lot. I animate a lot. Like, I currently do it on an iPad, like 12 frame animations or 24 frame animations. Uh, so I think that is somehow. that the things fuel in. And in any ways, that is basically the media part as well, the content of those interactive installations, and sometimes the inspiration. Other mediums for me would also, so here it's more of so generative art is where I can use sometimes music to like to basically trigger the visuals according to the beats and all of like the different rhythms and tones and all that. And then also, mm, I have taken inspiration from origami, and I have taken inspiration from uh, a lot of things. I guess it's the same for everyone, that you observe all around, you doodle, you sketch your ideas, you write them down, and
Okay.
somehow they, yeah.
So it kind of gives you an inspiration. It also helps you to visualize perhaps at a prototype level. Yeah, so I
Yes.
think it's pretty much the same that we all are doing as creatives. Okay. Okay, great.
Yeah.
Thanks, Ansh. I'll move on to my second question.
Yeah.
And this is for all those who want to get into this alternate medium, this new medium as a practice. I just wanted to I wanted you to give sort of like a brief in terms of what kind of softwares do you use? What are the tools or hacks maybe that you as a new media artist can share with possible newcomers in this field?
Okay, okay, so I'll probably talk to you by also showing some of my work, which is what I did recently. I again, because we had a lot of time in the lockdown, I created some things, and all of that, uh, all those smaller installations in my room converted into a residency for me in Goa during the last 2 months. Uh, so I've just come back home, and I'm just still in that space of what amazing this residency model is and how things are. So yeah, basically, okay. So I have done a few things. I guess I'll show them to you one by one, and then simultaneously explain the process and all of that. Okay, so there's one. This is a table which I created there, which is an interactive table of whatever people want to put on it. So it's called Object Petty A. It's a psychoanalytic theory by the name of Jacques Lacan, and he he the concept of this is basically that whatever uh, this is a this is a canvas, and all forms that you put in it, the canvas takes those forms. And the importance is not what is inside the canvas, rather it's the cause of desire of the person who's putting it. So this is basically a pond of possibilities, and for the people to create art themselves. So the process of this was, uh, I used a software called Touch Designer, uh, and this takes in a sensor on the top on the ceiling, which takes in the imagery, or it detects the objects, your hand and everything, and then a projector besides it projects back the visuals that it's generating through the program that I've created. So it reacts to music, it reacts to people around, and whatever you throw in it, you can create art with that in different ways. It has multiple sort of interactive points to it, and the process was from ideation to converting into the visuals, which were in a way coded. The touch designer is a node based coding software which in which you don't really have to code, but it has these nodes which has smaller codes, and then it basically uh, forms the code along the way, and you create the whole thing. So the visuals and thing. Okay, the second I thing I created was the whole idea of this was again, this was a representation of a mind because the space has the residency where I was is a museum in itself. It's called Sensistan in Goa. So Sensistan has a floor, uh, has a division of floors with concepts of heart, heart, mind, and body, soul, basically. So this space where my installation, I selected the space was mind. So this is a representation of mind itself on uh, how at the first thing when we think of mind, we think of dark or something that suppresses our heart or suppresses our emotions and in that sense. But when you actually think of it and open that up, that is where most creative things come from. And that's where the most of color comes from. So that was the whole idea. And again, this was done by using a software called Touch Designer. This project started as a normal 1 week project, but then went on to becoming a research project for me. Projection mapping is used in live performances with bands and music and DJs and all of that. Mostly they're called visual jockeys, VJs, who do these visuals. And I tend to do them in a different, again, in an interactive way. So people dancing in front of them and the music as well. So both of these things combine together and create the artwork there. So I use Kinect or sense camera sensors and something like that to take an input of the people in front or enjoying the music, dancing, and once they notice that something's happening on the wall or something, they start to create something of their own, make their own interpretations and like completely different world for them. And for me as well to see what they are creating because that's what I've not imagined as like how one can take it to another level because we all are in a way artists within. So
Mm-hmm.
if we are given a medium again, we tend to react to it, and that reaction in itself is an artwork that it is temporary, of course. All of this is in a way a lot temporary, but then I think that is what I also love about it because it's what you take in your memory with you, or it's just about those body movements that you did there, the movements, the interactions, things you move. So I think that's what also intrigues me. Again, I use Touch Designer in most of my live sketches and a sensor, Kinect sensor, or mostly a camera sensor for something like this.
Okay.
So come back to, yeah, sorry, you were saying something.
So, no, there are two takeaways that, or not takeaways, but two things that I really thought that sort of connected with me. One is for someone like me who's intimidated by technology, what you said that, you did not know how to program, but, ultimately you reached out to people and then it sort of all came together. So I think what you sort of mentioned there was that even if you are sort of away from technology, like you, for example, you're an architect, but you entered this and you have started now integrating a lot of technology as a medium. So I think anyone can enter this. It does not necessarily have to be sort of like a software engineer and then turn into an artist. So that's a lot of hope for me, and I'm sure there are a lot of other people out there who are as intimidated as I am. I think we all take a lot of hope out of that. And the second thing that you mentioned that your art becomes is very transient in nature. It's there, it's in that moment, and the next moment it's gone. I think that makes your art very exclusive in the sense that you cannot really take it home with you. Like you said, it's registered in your mind, and the only way to
Exactly.
reproduce it is that in your head when you think back,
Yeah.
which is very interesting.
This medium helps you take the person inside your art in a way and
Hmm.
makes the most important part of the artwork. If the person isn't there, the artwork doesn't do anything. For me, at least in the interactive space.
Mm-hmm.
So human interaction and humans itself are a very important part. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay. All right. So, Ansh,
Yes.
as a parting word, if you could please share the Instagram handle that you have and maybe
Yeah.
the website that you have so that more and more people can have a look at your work.
Yeah, so my Instagram handle is k_ansh, and my website, which I will update with these works soon as well, is called mera.work. It is an interactive installation in itself if you stay on the home page for a while. And like if you go there, you'll really enjoy it. You can play. It's a really fun process. And again, I would like to thank you. I have not done it enough, I guess, to discover for discovering me in a way and motivating me. I wouldn't have been here if it wasn't for that exhibition. So yeah, thank you.
Great, cool. Thanks, Ansh. Of course,
Thank you so
the
much.
Instagram handle and all of that I would mention in the description for all of us. So all of you guys can go and check it out whenever you can. Thank you. If you have been watching
Oh,
till the end, thank you so much.
mm,
Have a great day.
thank you.